My name is Yun Choi, a professor at Namseol University, Department of Social Welfare. My topic is the effects of social distance toward foreign students on multicultural receptivity of social welfare students. First, introduction. Social workers must accept clients as they are. In particular, it is necessary to respect the diversity of each client, such as race, ethnicity, gender, and culture, and to have cultural competence to utilize the strengths of the client's unique culture in the process of social welfare practice. Therefore, this study seeks to examine the level of multicultural receptivity of social welfare students who must play a pivotal role in multicultural social welfare practice and to derive to the implications related to academic training of social welfare students by identifying the effects of stereotype and social distance toward rapidly increasing international students on the multicultural receptivity of social welfare students. Due to the increased transnational movement, various races and ethnic groups, including married immigrants and foreign workers, have flowed into Korea since the mid-2000s, and Korea has entered a multicultural society without preparation. Multicultural policies for migrants were presented, and cultural competence was emphasized as essential knowledge and skills for social workers in multicultural practices. Efforts to respond to these social changes are not limited to social welfare practices and policies. To train practitioners prepared for a multicultural society, the Korean Council for Social Welfare Education has included social welfare and cultural diversity in its standard curriculum to foster human resources suitable for the changing social environment. Although racial and ethnic diversity coexisted in Korea from the past, it was in the mid-2000s that a full-fledged discussion on the multicultural phenomenon on society began. In the meantime, it was not an easy task for Korea to accept migrants with racial and ethnic differences as members of society because monoculture and monoethnic sentiment prevailed. In order to prevent and alleviate various social problems caused by the entry into multicultural society, the government is supporting migrants who have entered Korean society by presenting multicultural policy directions in cooperation with various related ministries. However, there are concerns that the government's direction rather reversely discriminate against non-multicultural people, and there are criticisms that its policy stance does not reflect the value of inclusiveness in a multicultural society. Changes in social environment due to the influx of migrants are the same in universities. The number of foreign students in Korea is estimated to be 160,000 in 2019 before Corona. These foreign students are distributed at universities across the country, and Korean university students experience ethnic and racial diversity on campus. So, embracing and coexisting in a multicultural society is needed throughout Korea. The first thing that is required to become a multicultural society is the acceptance of multiculturalism, which accepts differences as they are. In particular, in the case of social welfare professionals, who provide services to people. Acceptance, that means to accept clients as they are, is the essence of professional ethics. However, it is not always easy to accept the cultural differences of migrants due to the stereotypes and the social distance people have toward different race and ethnicity because of deep-seated and traditionally ingrained mono-ethnic sentiment. Therefore, as a prerequisite for effectively performing multicultural social welfare practice in a multicultural Korean society, this study examines the multicultural receptivity of social welfare students and identifies the effect of incident variables on multicultural receptivity. This study is thought to be helpful in finding directions for fostering social welfare students for multicultural social welfare practices. Next, theoretical background. Multicultural acceptability is an attitude that accepts the changes caused by the entry of a multicultural society as positive and supports the social value in which various ethnic groups or races coexist. Since the inclusion of diversity is essential in a multicultural society, multicultural receptivity that accepts ethnically and racially diverse clients as they are is essential. In particular, in the case of social workers who practice according to ethical guidelines, they must accept the unique characteristics of their clients as they are. Accepting the unique culture and value of migrants from multicultural societies is a basic premise for social welfare practices. Stereotype. A stereotype is the notion that attributes an individual's characteristics to a limited category simply because the individual belongs to a specific group category without considering or acknowledging the individual's individuality or ability. Due to stereotypes, the unique characteristics of an individual are overlooked or not respected, and errors occur that are understood and interpreted by the values of the mainstream group. In particular, negative stereotypes act as triggers of discrimination or prejudice because they are expressed as discriminatory behaviors. Stereotypes toward foreign students can cause a sense of social distance or inability to accept differences. Social distance, as opposed to social intimacy, refers to an individual's attitude toward an individual or group with a specific status. Social distance means the degree to which one can become friendly through interpersonal interactions. The studies of social distance are predominantly conducted on a minority group that is heterogeneous from the mainstream group. The minority groups that are not welcomed by the mainstream group include North Korean defectors, foreign workers, young people from multicultural families, the elderly with dementia, the disabled, AIDS patients, and migrants. Study on incident factors affecting multicultural receptivity. Since multicultural receptivity researches mainly focus on the degree of acceptance of a particular subset of multiculturalism, most of them are conducted on human service workers or on teenagers or college students who may have a possibility of contact with multiculturalism. The multicultural receptivity in previous studies is analyzed as a dependent variable or an independent variable. As an independent variable, multicultural receptivity is linked to organizational effectiveness. However, most of the studies set multicultural receptivity as a dependent variable. Demographic and sociological characteristics such as gender are considered as antecedent variables affecting multicultural receptibility, but these mainly have the meaning of cultural variables. Multicultural contact experience, such as related educational experience and volunteer experience, are suggested as antecedent variables affecting multicultural receptibility, and it is confirmed that people with experience in multicultural education have higher multicultural competence and multicultural receptibility than those who do not. In addition, it is verified that social intimacy toward foreigners have the mediating effect in the impact of cultural sensitivity on multicultural receptivity. Research method. Research questions are follows. First, what is the level of stereotype and social distance of social welfare students toward foreign students? Second, does the frequency of contact between social welfare students and foreign students affect multicultural receptivity? Third, do social welfare students' stereotype and social distance toward foreign students affect multicultural receptivity? The subject of this study were first grade social welfare students attending a university in Chungnam-do, and a survey of 30 to 40 students in each grade was conducted in October 2019. A total of 150 questionnaires were distributed and data collected from 134 people were used. Questionnaire composition and scale. As general characteristics, the questionnaire included content such as gender, grade, and age, and consisted of questions asking about international students in university and their personal experiences related to multiculturalism. For multicultural receptivity, the original items of the measure used by Hesbach in the multicultural receptivity scale validation study for college students were utilized. This scale consists of three subconcepts of cognitive, affective, and behavioral tendencies. A 5-point Likert scale consists of 13 items for cognitive receptivity, 12 items for affective receptivity, and 12 items for behavioral tendency. It is interpreted that the higher the score, the higher the degree of receptivity. Stereotypes were measured with 11 pairs of adjectives developed by Corrigan and Schmidt, and collected and supplemented by Sukenbach. On a 5-point scale, the higher the score, the greater the positivity toward the subject. The social distance is a 6-item 5-point scale used by Kim and Song-Suk Oh and Sukenbach. The higher the score, the greater the social distance. For a statistical analysis, SPSS version 23 was used, where the analysis of general characteristics of respondents, descriptive statistics were used, and the t-test was used for the analysis of difference in multicultural receptivity between the lower and upper grades. The effects of frequency of contact with foreign students, stereotypes, and social distance on multicultural receptivity was analyzed by hierarchical regression analysis. Research. First, the general characteristics of respondents. The respondents was 134 social welfare students with 63 men and 61 women, showing a rather higher female response rate. The respondents' grades were 26 each in the first and the second grade, 38 in the third grade, and 44 in the first grade. The average age was 21.26 years. Frequency of contact with foreign students. As a result of checking the average number of contact with foreign students at a school per week, as shown in Table 2, the frequency of contact 1 or 2 times a week was 4.5%, and 3 or 4 times was 18.7%. The case of contact more than 5 times was 14.5%. The number of students who did not make any contact at all was 16, or 11.5%. Descriptive statistics of key variables. The social welfare student had a positive perception toward foreign students with an average stereotype score of 3.26 and a rather low intimacy with an average social distance score of 3.1. The average of multicultural receptivity was 3.79, which was higher than the average of the other two variables. As for the average score of multicultural receptivity by grade, the first grade showed the highest receptivity with 4.0, and the third grade showed the lowest receptivity with 3.7. Result of hierarchical regression analysis. The effect of antecedent variables on multicultural receptivity was confirmed through hierarchical regression analysis. Model 1 added gender and grade. Model 2 added frequency of contact with foreign students to Model 1. And Model 3 added social distance and stereotype to confirm the influence of antecedent variables on multicultural receptivity of social welfare students. The multicollinearity of the regression analysis was confirmed by the tolerance and variance inflation factor. In the case of tolerance, the requirement was satisfied, and the VIF of 1.0 to 1.27 met the requirement of below 10, indicating that there was no problem of multicollinearity. As a result of the study, Model 1 showed that the lower grade had high multicultural receptibility, but the model was not statistically significant. The frequency of contact with foreign students in Model 2 was not significant. Due to the effect of grade, Model 2 was statistically significant at the below 0.05 level, but the amount of change in the F value had no statistical significance. As a result of analysis by adding stereotype and social distance variables to Model 2, it was found that Model 3 explains multicultural receptibility with an adjusted regression coefficient of 0.261 at the significant level below 0.001. Frequency of contact with foreign students, stereotype, and social distance variables all had an effect on multicultural receptibility. In other words, the higher the frequency of contact, the fewer the stereotypes, the less the social distance, the higher the multicultural receptivity. Conclusion. This study examined the level of multicultural receptivity of social welfare students who are prospective social workers who will play a pivotal role in multicultural social welfare practices and identified the effect of antecedent variables on multicultural receptivity. The findings of this study are summarized as follows. First, the average of multicultural receptivity was 3.79, indicating a relatively high average. However, there were some differences in multicultural receptivity depending on the grade level, and it was found that the multicultural receptivity of the first and second grade student was higher than the average of the third and first grade student. The average of stereotype was 3.26, which was more positive than the average, and the average of social distance showed a rather low score with 3.1. Second, multicultural receptivity due to the frequency of contact with foreign students did not show statistically significant results in Model 2 of the hierarchical regression analysis, but was confirmed to predict multicultural receptivity in Model 3. Third, it was confirmed that social welfare students' stereotypes and social distance toward foreign students affect multicultural receptivity. Suggestions based on the result of this study are as follows. First, for effective multicultural social welfare practices, social welfare students must embrace racial and ethnic diversity. To this end, various activities to enhance multicultural receptivity should be provided in the undergraduate courses. Above, in order to effectively support clients with cultural diversity, the social welfare and cultural diversity, which is presented in the standard curriculum guidelines of the Korean Council for Social Welfare Education, must be organized in the curriculum. The American Council for Social Welfare Education recommends detailed guidelines for acquiring multicultural competence in the undergraduate courses. This is because multicultural phenomenon is a global trend, and cultural competency is essential to effectively practice it for various clients. Beyond the guideline provided in the standard curriculum of the Korean Council for Social Welfare Education, it should be organized actually into the curriculum of each university so that students can complete it. Second, the experience of contact with various cultures should be promoted. Although precursive contact with foreign students does not have a significant effect on multicultural receptivity in this study, prior studies have also discussed multicultural experience as a leading variable affecting multicultural receptivity. In the undergraduate course, it is necessary to increase the understanding of multicultural clients and to accommodate the diversity through the expansion of volunteer work and educational opportunities to assess multicultural clients. Third, it will be possible to expand the experience exchanges with foreign students. It is necessary to provide opportunities for formalized activities with foreign students from various cultural backgrounds in the university to reduce social distance toward migrants and to help students grow as social workers prepared for multicultural society. Finally, support should be provided in the curriculum so that social welfare students can accept clients more inclusively by providing opportunities of self-awareness to understand what kind of prejudices or stereotypes they have about a particular group. Thank you for listening.